welcome back. Going to dive straight back into bodywork here. Should see the end of the bodywork in this video, welding that is, and then we will be pressing on with prepping for paint. So we prepped inside and out, and all the filler work and stuff like that's got to be done. So yeah, carry on, here we go. So before I start this morning, I'll just catch up on what I did yesterday. It's been a full day at welding, so got that just ground down, and I'm ready now to put the quarter panel in here. There's a few sections down here, all that's all welded back in, and I've got this section here welded on for the quarter panel. I'll go through that in a second, but I'm kind of doing that a bit differently. And the top of that is welded in as well as that roof patch. And I got all the old sliding door seal track taken off. There's a small repair to do there in the front, and a new U-channel to put on here to hold the seal. I'm waiting for an extractor fan to come, so in the meantime I've made a window. Bit of ventilation. There's a view anyway. So I'll just show you what I'm doing with the quarter panel. So these quarter panels are a bit of a pain. What I've been doing most of the time is welding, extending that arch back out and putting a tab on the end of it, and then taking the wheel off and going inside and spot welding all the way along the inside of the arch, grinding it all clean, seam sealing it afterwards. But it's difficult when you're, well, first of all, you're welding in your face, seems a lot of a lift. And the other thing is, it's hard not to put heat into the panel. So this time I've welded this tacked strip on here, you know, outside of the van while it's on the ground. I've done that piece because that bit's a bit more complicated and easy enough to weld on the inside of the arch. But that's the problem with these panels, is that they're not done the original way. The only thing is that they constantly want to do that. You know, that's what they call that, tin canning. They're kind of, they're just pretty rubbish actually. I must really look to see is there a better example, but I'm sure a better example is probably 5 or 6 times the price. On the other hand, that may be worth it. Now, I think once that corner's supported, the worst of that will stay, but yeah, it was like that before I welded it at least. So the idea now is to fit this in place, and then, because I can access it from the inside, tack it along the inside there instead. Yeah, we'll see how that way works. Right, so I'm working away on fitting this. So I'll just show you now. This shows the quality here. Don't expect these 40-50 quid quarter panels to be a good fit. They're not. I've seen better ones, but you know, considering that's right on top and pretty much right on the bottom, that's a hell of a long way off. So I'm actually going to cut this panel here and move this whole section down. The other thing is, when you're trying to, I don't know if you can see it, how far out this is standing at the moment. Now that's doing that of its own accord. So where I've welded the stuff on the inside is right. So once I push this into place, that's giving me a fairly nice straight line down the side of the van. So just force that into place there now, and I need to pull this wheel off so I can get my head in there. I'm impressed by how strong the power bar is. I'm more impressed by how tight those are. Shit. Right, so my feelings are a little hurt over my power bar, but I'm not going getting a new one just yet. So I can't get this wheel off. So I can't really finish off inside just yet, but I am much happier with how that panel has turned out, doing it this way. I did have to extend this. I just cut it straight off and dropped it down and filled it up again because yeah, that was a good long way out. But the panel is every bit as straight as it came out the box anyway, which is good. It's very easy to get big concave things in it there, but it's all pretty nice. So there's no welding to do on this panel now, bar I'll weld up. I usually put a few tacks in here, and then inside I'll weld back through the thing, and this I will add a load of tacks to that throughout the day. I stuck the sliding door back on so I could get my alignment right. Pretty pleased with that. There's no back hinge on it, but that'll adjust in quite nicely. Another thing I had to do was I cut a little groove here to allow this to all go in, because I've noticed on several of them now this isn't right, you know, it just doesn't fit into place, but cut that, and that's allowed this panel to come in there nicely, so it's all in line with the door. And once I have the door off, I'll tack that all the way up as well, and grind it all out clean. So glad to have that done. The rest is all little bits and pieces now, really. I've got the floor to do over behind that thing, but that's just a flat piece of metal. A small repair down here on the thing, both the front steps. I'm not going to replace the whole step, I'll just take out the centre of them and replace the centre, because the edge is actually fine and the wheel arches are fine. And there's one little patch, oh yeah, I've got to do this patch of gutter here. I have that replacement piece of gutter, which is actually quite good, that replacement panel, and this section, so we're probably going to pull the windscreen out, sort that out. And then there's a little bit on the front on the other side. But anyway, time for a tea break. I'll come back to it in a minute. Okay, so I hammered away at this yesterday evening. I wanted to get kind of wrap up as much as I possibly could. So all that quarter panel is done now, all ground down, and just a bit of zinc primer around the welds. Done that little section there with a bit of 2mm steel, and filled out the step there. And also the other side, I must do that this morning, and that piece on the inside of there. Now I need to clean up my mess as well, but welded in that section and all that step as well, just fixed all that. So that's the bulk of the stuff on the van body itself now. I've got the bottom of the tailgate to do. That's in poor enough shape. It's probably bad most of the way across, really, especially on the inside. It's annoying because you can't get the... You can buy the outer panel, which seems to be out of stock everywhere actually, but then doesn't really solve the problem of the inside. Actually, I'll show you another one I did here during the summer, and I think it came out quite nicely. I actually used a piece of that old bulkhead, because this profile matches that on the end of the boot lid. So I used a section of that. Now, whether it's cost effective or not, I don't know, because there was a lot of labour involved. And then I had to put a strip along all the inside as well, but it did away with this fold, and it ends up kind of a nice finish. But yeah, so that's the plan for today anyway. I'm going to press on with a few little bits now. Now, I'm just about to do this floor section here. I've seam sealed down inside the join and given all that a coat of weld-through primer. It'll have to be, there are access holes along here, so you'll need wax oil or something sprayed in afterwards. But I'm actually out of sheet metal. But what I did have was some stainless, so we won't have to worry about that rusting. bit of a crime putting stainless in there. So do those two sections, and I have a middle section cut as well. Also well primed that, and the filler piece as well. I've just put some primer on that, so I'm going to weld this and then move on to that. Right, before I do anything else on the van, I'm just going to do a little catch up again. Been kind of tipping away for a couple of days again now without filming anything, so can't even think what I've done. But we'll just give a quick look at it. So all the boot lid and doors and everything like that are off. Give it a fairly good clean out after finishing off that piece of floor, and we removed the windscreen the other day. Normally I cut the seal on the windscreen to save risking breaking the windscreen and buy a new seal. Said we'd try and get the windscreen out on this one, and we broke the damn thing. Now I have another one outside, so we'll cut the seal on that, and I've got to do that little bit of rust repair up here on the roof that I can get at now that the windscreen's gone. There's a little rough. There's a section missing here in the middle, so I'm going to have to do that, and a small piece there again on that side as well. And I think we have a little bit to do on the bottom, not too bad, but there's a little bit to do down there. So that'll be everything on the body done then. And I will push on prepping it for paint after that. So, despite trying to finish this several days, I'm only just digging into the front now really. I've got all the little pieces cut for that top corner along the windscreen. Down here was worse than I had hoped. So I've ended up chopping out the entire, that's this section, and I've made a new base to fit in here. So I'm going to weld those two together outside of there and then fit it in. Really a lot of these vans have looked at, they could really do with a new lower panel along here. As you can see, there's a hole there, but they all have rust there. It's usually under this under that lip there, but there's also a lip going the other way. Now I could go and grind all this off as well by rights, but there's not so much rust blistering under that or anything, so I'm going to weld in this section, and then I'll seal all this again along here, and I'll just do a little isolated repair there. It's really awkward to work on these because of this lip. Let's see, I've actually had to cut through it there to get this cut done, but I used the 9-inch angle grinder with a big disc on there, and I ground away all this that flange that goes on there most of the way out to here anyway. The ends are okay, they don't seem to have blistered up yet, but yeah, bit of a nuisance of a job. I never enjoyed doing that part of it. Got a few little holes here and there as well, so I'll just touch all those up with a bit of weld. They'll last a long time yet before that panel would need any more attention really. So yeah, gonna get on with some welding now. I've been grinding all morning. Oh, I've got the boot lid as well cut out, whole bottom cut off of it, and this is what I'm going to use for my repair. The repair panels are expensive and not actually available at the moment. They seem to be out of stock everywhere. So this is a section of bulkhead. I've done this on another one before and it works out really nicely. It's the same profile. Now last time I did go up as far as that line, but on this I didn't need to, so I'm not going to. And then I'll replace the back after once I have the face welded on. It is a bit of a slow process because I've got to be very careful not to heat the panel, ruin the tailgate. That probably won't get done today, but I might get a bit of it tacked on just so it's kind of in place. I want to stick at getting the van kind of done and dusted there. Right, so I've welded my strip along the base. That's the outer one. Now you can see the curve isn't perfect, but I found last time once I put the inside one in, I was able to get that really good. So what I need here along the inside now is strip, and I'll weld it up as far as the base of these, and we can cut the excess off after. And it'll come down over this, and I'll just edge weld it and grind it out smooth. I'll show you why the way these are put together and why all the boot lids rust like that. So this is just a little strip, so it gives a nice cross section of the base of the boot lid. So as you can see, it's folded around the inner layer. The outer skin's folded around the frame of the boot lid. And what happens is that little groove down in here collects all the moisture and dirt that runs down the inside of the panel and turns it into that, and then eventually just rots through here. So that's why you fix one patch or you sand it down and fill it, and very soon again there it is. So that's why I've taken to cutting the entire bottom off of these. Now on our own one I just did the 3 patches, but this is a way better way of doing it as far as I'm concerned. I know ours will need attention again sooner or later, and then I'll do this to it. Right, now I say this pretty cautiously, but I'm 99.9% sure that all the welding is finished on this fan, and grinding for that matter. So I'll show you what I did. I stayed at it for a good while this evening, and yeah, just had to get that bit over with. So stayed at the boot lid. Top I had already shown you, and the underside is done as well. I'll show you that better when it's flipped over the other way. I'm not going flipping it over now, but I'll be doing it to do the filler and stuff along the inside anyway. But that's turned out pretty nicely. There is a join there, and I need to use the hammer and dolly just to straighten out that little bit of a small kink in it. Something I'm trying here on a few spots is, you know, you always get blistering down these seams, and for the most part I cut them out and get rid of it. But you do find sometimes when you get through it, there's just a very small bit of patch of rust. Now the alternative would be to cut whole sections out and weld in pieces, and that may be necessary, but I've just done some pad welds over a couple of little bits of just over where there's a bit of pitting there, so we'll see how they hold up, and I'll have plenty of opportunity to touch that up in a year or two anyway if there's any issue there. Finished off that last little bit down on the base there. This front section, so I ended up welding in all the way along there. Not sure if I showed that already in this video, but I made that's the section that was there, and then I replaced this section here. That radiator is coming out because it's completely rotten. The whole bottom base of it's rotten away in there. So that'll be coming out, and we'll seam seal along the back of that panel first. A few little pinholes along there got welded up, and same with all these sections along the windscreen there. New section in there. Same on that corner, and corner of the roof, and that piece of gutter all done as well. And the final piece I had to do was the new seal track on the bottom of that. So just put that on there as well. So yeah, going to give all this, well actually most of it's been roughed up already for filler work. Just this side now needs a quick sanding with some coarse paper just to key in anywhere there's going to be filler. So that side's already been done. You can see it's sanded away. I stuck a few bits of weld along. I had tech screws put through there to hold it tight while I welded it in the last day. That's all done, and another little 2 pad welds there, so we'll see how they hold up. So yeah, that's about it for this one. Right, well, I'm really only just prattling around out here waiting for epoxy to dry on the surfboard. It's time to be sitting in front of the telly now. But anyway, yeah, that's all the welding. Moving on now to prettying the whole thing up, which is great. So, thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment if there's anything you want to see. You know, I'm only trying to come up with stuff to show you. So, if there's anything you'd actually prefer, then you know, let me know. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.